Hare Krishna.
Hare
So, chapter 13th chapter. No? Did I open the 14th chapter? Today is 13th chapter.
Yes, Mataji.
So, what is the name of the chapter? Number is easy. What's the name?
Mataji, it is nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness.
Very nice. So, of course, today onwards, we are entering what's called Jnana Yoga, right? So, the first 6 chapters, I mentioned that we spoke about Bhakti, right? That is, the entire 18th chapter is Bhakti, but the first 6 chapter is achieving Bhakti through karma. And the last 6 chapter is achieving Bhakti through Jnana. So, anything which is about knowledge becomes a little difficult, right? Because the middle 6 is the most interesting chapter because it's about Bhakti directly, how we can achieve Bhakti directly. So that's the simplest chapter. But anything other than that could be a little tough. So today's chapter, I request you all, if you all want to have a pen or so, you can, take it. Because first time when I heard this chapter, I found it very difficult. So, I'm sure you all are very, very smart. So you should ask, but please pay attention. And if you all have doubts, I will answer at the end. But you also keep typing in the chat, because as I am telling, if I notice that doubt, I will address that as I'm taking you all through the class, right? So let's start off our session with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimra Andasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhya Kripatahindubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Come on.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna. So, this chapter, the Jnana. So, we just briefed you the first 6 chapter, what it is. It's achieving through work, and the last 6 that of and this is Bhakti itself, right? So if you know, right, it starts with the fact that which is a form, personal form.
Mataji, your voice is not clear.
Once again, can you hear me now?
Yes, but it's better, Mataji, but it's breaking it also.
Okay, just tell me, I'll just. So we're talking about So 12th chapter explains how he personally delivers the devotee from birth and death. Right? Personally, is delivering.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, it's breaking, Mataji. Shows the network bandwidth is low. So it comes.
Just give me 1 second.
Mataji.
I think now is it clear?
Yes, better. Yes. Yeah.
I'm closest to the exit point. Beyond this, I have to jump out of my balcony. Tell me if it's not clear, because I'll pause and repeat. But as of now, I think this is the best I could get closest to the viewer. So now coming back to the, thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Sorry for the trouble. So the 6th chapter is we get to know about the knowledge, because the knowledge is absolutely required to get out of it. So if you have, if someone tells you don't smoke, okay, you'll tell, okay, why not? But then if someone tells you, okay, if you smoke, it's injurious to health and, you know, you're going to get all these diseases, then, you know, you are aware. Now, beyond that you do, then it's ignorance and idioticness. But then if you don't even know, then you're very innocent, right? You're not aware of it. So jnana just tells you to detach yourself from Maya and attach to Krishna, right? So how you can detach from Maya and how to attach to Krishna is a process which is explained by Maya. So hence, when we use knowledge as a means to attain devotion, it becomes right. So when you use karma to attain, it becomes karma yoga. When you use jnana, it becomes jnana yoga. Right now, end of the day, what we are going to do is we are going to use knowledge to reach devotion, and anything which is used for devotion is bhakti. So when karma is used and when it becomes karma yoga, yoga means huge, right? It means reaching Krishna, right? So finally, when you're reaching Krishna itself means bhakti, right? So the point what we are telling is everything goes to bhakti. Ultimately, all roads lead to Rome, they say, right? So like that, both these roads, if there is Krishna in the middle, then it reaches bhakti. Right? That's the destination which we are talking about. So these are the 6 questions which are asked in the 13th chapter. And the 6 questions, first one is Prakriti. And so basically, I was doing Bhakti Shastri, right? And we just finished the 13th chapter. And the teacher over there was very smart, actually. He was telling, you know, easy way of remembering is 2 P's, 2 K's, 2 J's, right? So I'm just sharing this. So 2 P's will be Prakriti and Purusha. So Prakriti refers to the material nature. That I think everybody will be clear. Purusha is the enjoyer, right? So in this context, you think as mini Purusha, because here they're talking about us living entities, right? So that you don't get confused between whom they are addressing. Ksetra is the body, right? What you see, right? And Ksetrajna means knowledge, right? Knowledge, who knows the body. Jna means knowledge, right? Ksetrajna means who's the knower of the body. So we will see who the knower of the body is. Jnanam talks about understanding whatever is Ksetra and Ksetrajna is, and Neyam is Paramatma. So I'll repeat once again. Prakriti means material nature. Purusha means enjoyer, here living entity. Ksetra means the body. Ksetrajna talks about who knows the body. And Jnanam is, do you understand what is Ksetra and Ksetrajna? Currently you don't, but you'll get the Jnanam in few minutes once we finish this chapter. And Neyam is Paramatma, that's it, right? Neyam means what is the object or goal of knowledge. See, the object of everything is Bhakti, right? Krishna. So that is what is explained. So 13.1 and 2, please go ahead and read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, Purusha, and the field, and the knower of the field, and the knowledge, and the end of the knowledge." The blessed Lord then said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field. Then the one who this body is called the knower of the field."
And the one who knows this body is called the knower of the field, right? So basically what he is telling that the body is the field, and whoever knows the body is called the knower. So the field is called Ksetra and the knower is called Ksetrajna. So that is what he is explaining. So now let's start off 13.3. Hare Krishna. Ksetrajnam chapi mam vitti sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yatha jnanam matam mama. Hare Krishna.
O Skyana Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. That is my opinion.
Right? So already we saw what is Ksetrajna. It means understanding the body and the owner, right? Now, who are the owners of the body? Now, obviously, I am one owner of the body, yes or no? Because I know my body, so I become the owner of this body. Now, besides me, there is one more owner. Is there anybody besides me who knows about my body?
No, Mataji.
Yeah, one more.
Krishna ji.
Yeah, who's that?
Krishna ji.
Yeah, Krishna ji. Okay. I love the style in which the North Indians address, right? So when they address Radha Rani, they either call Radha Rani or they will call Radha Mai, right? And and Krishna also we all call with respect, right? So in South, we are just used bang opposite. We tell, hey Krishna or Krishna, Kanna, right? So that we largely use, even up form we don't use, we use a singular form. But your answer is perfect. Thank you so much. So Krishna is the knower of the body, right? Besides ourselves. That is why cha, if you see the word frequently which will come is cha, which is going to come later, but I'm just giving you clearly. So he said, I am also, right? So you see chapi, cha refers to also. That means I am also means there are two knowers. One is myself. So if you look at this picture, you have two of them. One is myself, another one is Krishna. And when I'm awake fully, it is there. When I'm half sleepy state, right? When I'm having dreams and all that, the REM state, which we call, that time also Krishna is there. And finally, when I'm completely sleeping, that time also Krishna is there. But do you notice something in the three pictures? I'm going to give you 1 second. Have a close look on the picture and tell me, what do you notice? I mean, nothing wrong if you tell, because you don't have to notice exactly what I notice. So what do you notice from the pictures?
Mataji, in the first picture, the man is smoking. In the second one, he is dreaming of gambling. And the third one is just sleeping.
Nice. So from there, what do you understand from that?
Krishna ji resides in everyone, no matter what they do.
Very sweet. So Krishna is residing everywhere irrespective of what you do, right? And here the picture shown is man. But in any case, the picture, it can be even a pig, it can be a dog or a worm, but still Krishna is residing. Now, one more part of it, if you closely observe, is Krishna is constantly there in the same posture, ready to help. But we are looking away. If you minutely observe, here he is looking this side, here he is looking that side, here also looking that side. Not once do we turn and look at Krishna who is next to us, right? So that is our position. So now this is a field and you have this. So I'm the owner of this field, and this is the analogy given in the puppet. And what they are saying is, he's the owner of the field and he knows we know only our field, right? And so who knows all the fields? Like the king, the example given here is the king is the knower of all fields. So let's read 13.5, you will understand this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, that knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of the activities is described by various sages in the various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in the Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Hare Krishna. So what they are telling is the knowledge of the field of activities and the knower, right, is described in, so basically everything is with testimony. If you remember the 9th chapter, 10th chapter, Krishna, Arjuna is telling, right? Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. He's appreciating. You'll tell, oh, Krishna, what? Why won't he appreciate? Because he is very close to Arjuna. You will just tell that, right? Arjuna is very close to Krishna. So he will appreciate. So therefore he says, Ahustvam Rishe Sarve Devashir Naradattata Asito Devalo Vyaso Swayam Cheve Bhavishime, which means he's also giving a testimony. Not only me, and now Swayam you are telling, but in between there is Vyasa, Asito, right? Narada Rishi and Devalo. Everyone are supporting this. So now he is now taking the same reference in the 13th chapter. He's saying the knowledge of the field of activities is described by the various sages, right? It's just not here, but all sages are explaining. And it is presented in what's called the Vedanta Sutra with what is the cause and what is the effect. So basically the cause of the child is the mother, right? The effect is the child. So the cause eventually becomes that. So like that, the cause for all of us who is born is Krishna, whether it's material world or spiritual world. So that is very clearly explained in the Vedanta Sutra. So this one is called the Annamaya platform, which is at a very bodily platform. Only needs food, right? Animal platform. Only food is required. It doesn't even, it is in fact, I would say like a newborn baby, not even an animalistic platform. It's like a very, very newborn. It doesn't even understand life forces there. You go to attack the baby also, the baby won't defend, right? The next one is a slightly higher feature where it is the life force sensitivity is there. Like an animal also, I would say, is in a pranamaya state because it's ready to fight if you're going to attack. Right? So it's besides that, it understands that. The next one is the mind, the application of the mind. It's understanding, right? That is called the Jnanamaya. So it is also called Manomaya, where mind is applied, right? So the process of thinking. So there is something to do and not to do, right? So that is at the Jnanamaya platform. That means that the mind facilitates you to think. And but this platform seems to be the most dangerous platform because mind takes control of us, then we'll get into trouble. The next, and one more thing is we are trying to acquire knowledge here so that we will move into the intelligence, Vijnanamaya. Vijnana is we have knowledge, but do we apply it? So in the second chapter, we understood that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Very good. Have we applied it? Has anyone applied that I'm not the body, I'm the soul knowledge to anyone? So if I'm going to just look at Lakshmi and tell, Lakshmi, what are you reading? Huh? You're so slow. You know, I don't like the way you're reading. You think she's going to take it? She'll start feeling very upset. Lakshmi is just an example. Huh? So,
yeah, okay, Mataji.
So, you know, she's going to be very offended, right? Are you going to take it like, okay, I'm not the body, it doesn't matter? No, right? So maybe we will tell that I'm not the body in the middle of a road. But then if it is happening within the closer circle, you know, we'll feel very offended. So the jnana which we have got in the second chapter, till we have moved to 13th chapter, is not synced in. So we have not come to Vijnana. Vijnana is practical application. It touches the intelligent platform, which is decision making. Right? So what is decision making is, okay, I have the knowledge. I'm able to take a decision. I know now I'm not the body, but I'm able to take a decision. Example, one more example I'll tell you. All of you are there in the class. So the teacher will scold most of the time, everyone same time, same way, right? Especially if the teacher's mood is bad, everybody gets equal masala dosa. So somebody who is very sensitive cries, right? Somebody which we call sensitive, and we appreciate that. And when somebody is at the technical Vijnanamaya, they are sober. They don't overreact to the situation. They know, they understand. So anybody who insults or does not honor, it's okay. So above all this is what is called as the Anandamaya platform, which is the spiritual bliss, which is basically understanding Krishna consciousness. So everything is around center. We were talking about so many centers, right? Here we are talking about God center. So this is the Anandamaya platform. That's the highest, right? This is where you have what's called the Sat, Chit, and you know, we have Satchid Anand, right? Anand. Sat is the first level, right? You know, understanding soul is eternal. And Chit, Vijnanamaya, you know, okay, I also have, beside that, we have knowledge also. Sat and Chit adds, and Anandamaya is Satchidananda, right? Ultimate happiness is clearly taken at this Anandamaya platform. So if you, the moment you start understanding that Krishna is the supreme personality of a Godhead and he's a person, and you start, you know, cultivating the knowledge to serve him, then you automatically go into the Vijnanamaya platform. Hare Krishna. So 13.6.7. This is, we'll go slow here, but you can read and we'll go one after the other. Yeah, go ahead.
The 5 great elements: false ego, intelligent, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the agitated, the life symptoms and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be field of activities and its interactions.
Hare Krishna. So the 5 great elements, right? So what you see, the hand, all this which is made of is 5 great elements. Does anyone know what are the 5 great elements?
Mataji, there are senses: eyes, nose, hands, or tongue, whatever can help us sense.
And that is 5 sense objects. What you said is right, but that will come under the 5 sense objects, which is the third line. But what do you call by the 5 great centers? We read in the 7th chapter. Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayu. We call it Panjabhuta. Do you use the same word in Hindi also, Panjabhuta? I think it's Hindi word only. Sanskrit word. So it is, we say, right, earth, water, fire, ether, and air. Right? That makes the 5 great elements. Now the next, so we'll keep 5, 5. It becomes easier for us. So the 5 great elements are there. Now I'm going to the 5 sense objects which you already saw. already you spoke, right? So so whatever you saw, eyes is for seeing, right? Ears, hearing, nose, smelling, mouth is for speaking, right? So skin for touching. So sense objects. And 10 senses is what we have. Two set of, one is called the knowledge acquiring senses, and the other one is called the working senses. We've read this when we are small, probably second or third standard. So the knowledge acquiring senses are whatever you specifically said, right? Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and skin. That's for knowledge acquiring, right? Because you be able to see and all that. Your working senses will be your hands, your legs, right? Your your vocal cord for speaking, your and your genitals and your excretory organs. So all this put together makes it 20, right? So 5 great elements, that is Panjabhutas, 5 sense objects, then 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So it's 20. So what are the 4 we will see? Then this will make it easier. So the next one is the false ego, intelligence, and mind, right? So we've seen that, right? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. These 3 are packaged. So that makes it 23. And the other one, which is called the unmanifested, is what? Unmanifested is nothing but your 3 modes, which is going to get manifested anytime. So that is what is called unmanifested. And these are 24 elements, right? So what happens? All these elements basically start when they start interacting. When I see, I develop a desire, or I get angry. So hatred, all this, right? So first you see desire, hatred, happiness, distress, aggregate. All these are the subtler ones. These are all very evident 24 elements, right? The 8 element combination results in 24. And this subtler ones, these are subtler. Desire, hatred, happiness, distress are all subtler ones. And life symptom is the presence of consciousness. How do you know? Life is a symptom of the soul, they say, right? So consciousness is a symptom of the soul. So how do you know somebody is sleeping or dead? It's basically from the life symptom, right? All these are considered in summary to the field of activity. So activity and its interaction. Only when you interact, like I watch a TV with my object and I see something, and what happens is I will get with that particular interaction, something comes in, which is your subtlety, which is like hatred or anger or lust, all that develop, right? So these are the activities. Field of activities means body is involved in all these activity, and the interaction causes all these subtle elements to come up. Hare Krishna. Is it clear? So this is now we are jumping into a very long shloka. Hare Krishna. 13.8 to 12. Hare Krishna. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa shantirajavam acharyopasanam saucham sairyam atma vinigrayah indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktir anabhishvangah putradara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishto papatishu mai chananya yogena bhaktiravyabicharini vivikta desha sevitvam haratir jana samsadi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tatvananartha darshanam etajnanam iti proktam ajnanam yad athonyatha. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So slowly you can read the ones on the, right.
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from enlightenment with children, wife, home, and the rest, even mindedness amidst pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, a springing to life in solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever they are may be ignorance.
Hare Krishna. So it's a long list, right? So we are going to see this long list of items, and he is going to tell, we're going to see what are all the items, right? So he's talking about humanity. So each one represents something. So I'll give you an example. Humanity, which means amanitvam, is irrespective of whatever, whether you're happy or sad, right? So we spoke about King Bharat, and he was a king. He became a deer, and then he became what's called Jadabarada. I didn't have a chance to talk about that story. But in Jadabarada, when he was a king and then he was born in a Brahmin family, where his stepbrothers will insult him. The king over there will also tell him to lift the palanquin, right? What you carry, the king. And they will all insult him, but he was absolutely not bothered. Nothing affected him, even to the slightest level. So pridelessness is Adam Bitvam. So pridelessness means you are not bothered at all. You understand, like second chapter, I was telling you, I'm not the body, right? So you're not really bothered about honor or disorder. Both seems just the same for you. And non-violence is ahimsa. So ahimsa is multiple. There are multiple meanings of ahimsa. So first and foremost, one meaning is not only being violent, right? Even if you do not give Krishna to yourself, right? That also is ahimsa. So it means that you can actually, it's in fact mentioned in Isha Upanishad in the third mantra. It goes like this: Asurya namate loka andena tamasavritaha tamste pregya vigachanti eke atma no janaha. Means that atmaha means killer of the soul. So ahimsa need not be physical violence, but even something which you think bad of a person. Thankfully, in Kali Yuga, if you think bad of a person, you don't get bad credits. If you think good of a person, you get good credits. But if you think bad of a person, you don't get. Whereas in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga, even if you think bad of a person, you get, minus points. You don't have that, but still, we already saw in the bridge course where your actions become, your thoughts become actions, right? So you have to be very careful with that. Now, tolerance. Be patient to bear insult and dishonor from others. Tolerate. So if you see the second chapter itself, and even in the 9th chapter, more particularly in the 2nd chapter, he says, right, Matras paschashtu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama payino anityas tam shashivashtikas bharata. So what does he say? He says that you have to tolerate. Doesn't matter. Whatever happens, you just have to tolerate. You just don't have a choice. You have to put up. So therefore, it's very important, whether it's you're honored or whatever, you just tolerate is what he says. Simplicity is Arjamam, so straightforward, like Yudhishthira, right? So you've never seen anyone so simple like Yudhishthira, because Yudhishthira can go and tell the truth even to his enemy. That is simplicity. It's not that, okay, I'm wearing only the same t-shirt for the past 5 days. That is simplicity. No, that's not simplicity, right? Now, if you have all the 5 qualities, you have a bonus. The bonus is only when you have all these qualities, you can accept a spiritual master, because unless you're humble, Acharya Upasanam will not come. And this is very important, right? We saw that even in the 4th chapter, Krishna tells very clearly, right? Tad viddhi praniprarthena paniprastena sevaya uparistena te jnanam naninascha tattva satvitah. Very clearly saying what? That you have to have a spiritual master. Otherwise, there is no choice. Right? And then cleanliness applies to everything, both external. We saw in the 6th chapter, external niyama and all the rules and regulations for external and internal cleaning. And steadiness is thairyam. You need a lot of determination, all of y'all, right? Look at y'all, that y'all are all present in the 13th chapter. We are at the final stage. You all have exams, you all have school, you all have college. You may have holiday, you may have party, but still steadily you'll are attending every single session from the day one. So this is steadiness, right? So that is thairyam. Self-control is atma vinigraha. Whatever is unfavorable, reject, right? Now, if your friends are telling, okay, let's go and have party, you just reject that, but you're sitting here, right? So that is self-control. What you want, what is important, you do. Now, renunciation of self-objects. Indriya atenu vairagyam. So body always keeps asking so many things, right? So it tells you, okay, smoke, drink, all these are asked. So you don't get into all that kind of a addiction. You do what is important, and absence of false ego. Not to cater, I said that, sorry, yeah, for anankara. We saw this in the 9th chapter. We will not, get into envy, and also ahankaram. We'll reject. It's a very simple body. The concept of I am the body, though Arjuna we felt was great. What was his concept? He was thinking, I, my relative, my thing, my uncle, my teacher. Krishna is telling, reject that and accept that I am nimitra matram, which means I'm just a servant of Krishna. So that is called true ego. So all the Mayavadis and impersonalists say that you should not have ego. It's not possible. We are human and therefore we will have ego, but not to have false ego. Example is, Hanuman is very proud that he is a servant of Rama. That is true ego. But we are very proud that I have 4 servants in my house. That is false ego. Right? Perception of evil. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha donanu darshanam. So regularly hear from proper source. Right? So very, very clear, proper source. Right? So we are talking about Achinta Veda Abheda philosophy. So Achinta means inconceivable. So if it is unconceivable, how will we know? Because it's inconceivable to us. If you hear from the proper source, Krishna reveals, right? So very clearly, there is a saying, God comes, right? He's sending his hand. He is actually sending the Guru. He helps you to go. So a Guru helps you to find Krishna, and Krishna helps you to find Guru. So it's interlinked. It all depends on how much you want. The next point is detachment. Now, very often it's confusing because many people don't understand what is detachment, and they get confused that detachment means no love. No, that's wrong. Entire Bhagavad Gita is talking about love. Do you ever see Krishna? He himself is an example of love, right? Prema. So he is mad of the Pandavas. He is crazy of, he's protecting the Kunti Ma. Everywhere he is showing so much love. But what he is telling is stay detached. Detached means be ready to sacrifice for Krishna, right? So, if, for example, wife, children, family, you have to be there. They, make sure that they are all Krishna conscious people. Example also is, suppose I tell I love you, right? I have a daughter and I tell my daughter, hey, I love you. Can you just get up in the morning? Hey, I love you. Okay. And then I tell, hey, I want to be a doctor. I could not be a doctor. I love you. I really love you. I want you to do medicine. I love you. Why don't you just clean the chores? Then I keep on doing that. What will she tell? Ma, enough of love. I don't want your love. So now do you understand the difference between love and detachment? Love means service, right? And that's what we want to show to Krishna also. We serve him and show that. We don't go and tell, hey, Krishna, I want to get some jewelry. Help me. Hey, Krishna, my kid, I want to take her for a foreign trip. Get me more money. Hey, Krishna, no, that is not love. That is demanding, order supplier. Even-mindedness, nityacha samachittatvam. So that means not bothered with any material gain, right? You're continuously doing service. Unalloyed devotional services, ananya bhakti. Engaging in 9 process. We already saw the 9 process. Since we don't have time, otherwise I would, if it's an advanced class, I would not be explaining all this. I will make you all explain in terms of examples, but with constraint of time, I'm just pushing it off. So now 13.13 you can read. Hare Krishna.
I shall now explain the knowledgeable, knowing which you will taste the eternal, Brahma, the spirit beingless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world.
So very clearly, Krishna is explaining, everything, which he says that you will taste what's called eternal, right? Brahman, the spirit, the life force, right? Whatever we are talking about, our life is eternal. It is not having a beginning. And obviously, we soul, Atma, is subordinate to Krishna. We report, right? And we can't be analyzing cause. How did I come? When did I come from? Where did I come? So he's going to explain all that. So we'll see that. So 13.15, Hare Krishna. Sarvendriya guna bhasham, sarvendriya vivarjitam, asankam sarva brikchaiva, nirgunam guna go bhoktricha.
The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature.
So very clearly they are telling super soul, Paramatma, is the original source of all the senses, right? Without senses, everything, he is original source. He is very unattached. And he is a maintainer of all the living being. He will maintain the all living being. And he modes report to him. So he transcends the modes, means that he is not under the modes, but he's above the modes. And that's what it clearly says. He's the master of the modes. So why quickly? He's a source. At the same time, he's unattached and he's above the modes. So very clear. And he's a maintainer of the living entities. 13.16.
The supreme truth exists both internally and externally, in the moving and non-moving. He is beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all.
So he says the supreme truth is both internal and external. How internally he is as Paramatma, right, in our heart. And externally, in everything, all the material things are also him, right? So the moving, so that is first. Second, in the moving and non-moving. So non-moving, tree, mountain, plants are all is external energy. And whatever is moving, like us, all living entities, right, are his internal energy. So he is a cause for that. And he is beyond the power of material sense to see or to know. Yeah, we can't see him, right? So in fact, to see Vishwarupa itself, Krishna had to give Arjuna Divya Drishti. It is a power of material sense to see or to know about him. Although far, far away, he is near also. Right? So this is a very beautiful shloka again in Isha Upanishad 51. Tade jati tanne jati tatture tadvanshike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasaya bhayatah. So he says that he's very far. Right? So they say that he's far away, he's near also. Right? Dure tadvanshike, he's far away, near also. Tade jati tanne jati. Right? He's outside also, he's inside also. He's Goloka also, he is at the same time here also, right? So this is called Achinta Beda Abeda philosophy. Achinta, I told you, inconceivable, which means you need a teacher. Beda means without difference, right? And Abeda means without that difference, right? So that means that it's one and the same. So that is the speciality of Achinta Beda philosophy. Different and non-different. So Achinta means inconceivable, Beda means different, Abeda means without any difference. So 13.16. Yeah, go ahead and read.
Hare Krishna. The supreme truth exists both internally and externally, in the moving and non-moving. He is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to me. Hare Krishna.
This is what I explained. And one more example which is given in this picture is that of Parikshit. So Parikshit, you all know about Brahmastram, right? Which was sent by Ashwatthama. And what happened? So anybody knows the story of Ashwatthama and Brahmastram of Parikshit? Does anyone know the story?
Mataji, is it maybe the story where he kills Uttara's child?
Correct.
Okay, Mataji, I know the story.
Yeah, please go ahead and tell me.
So after the Mahabharata ended, in spite of rage, Ashwatthama had released Brahmastra and given it the order to go and kill Uttara's child, making the Pandavas vanchless, meaning they will have no, heir on the throne. And because of this rage, Arjun also fired Brahmastra. But then Krishnji came and he concluded that if these two Brahmastras are to, collide, they will destroy the universe. So Arjun took his Brahmastra back. But Ashwathama's Brahmastra had gone to Uttara's womb and pierced the womb of Uttara. After that, Krishnji had to come and resurrect Uttara's womb, and he gave the name of the child Parikshit because before birth he had died and taken birth again, meaning he was now pure.
Very nice. So beautifully explained. So So what happens exactly is when the Brahmastra went to attack Parikshit in the womb, so much of heat was created. This is also in Srimad Bhagavatam. You will have it in the first canto, and Krishna is outside with them, and he enters into, from the heart of the, as Paramatma, he enters into the Garbha, that is the womb, right? He sees it in the size of the thumb, and he is protecting this child. Can you see that? He is protecting the Brahmastra, and he saw it, Parikshit. He saw this beautiful face, and that is why he's called Parikshit. Because after he came, he was looking, oh, where is this Krishna? Where is Krishna? He was searching. In fact, he doesn't remember Krishna, but he remembers his beautiful face. So that is why he was constantly, Parikshit means examining, right? He was constantly examining as to who this person is, and that is why he was called Parikshit. Thank you so much for the story. And this is one classic example of how he is. Now, 13.18 is very clearly talking about, yeah, go ahead and read.
He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart.
So he says that he's a source of light, right? In anything, whether it's sun or moon, they say Krishna is a source of light, right? So you can see, right? In all luminous objects, whether it's sun or moon, so you can see that light which is coming beyond darkness and in unmanifested. Whatever you can't see, also Krishna is there. So it is not that, okay, what I see, only Krishna is there. No, you're wrong. What you don't see, also Krishna is there. He is knowledge. Krishna is only knowledge, right? So whatever we know is what Krishna has given him. And object of knowledge, is purpose of knowledge, is also Krishna. So this will come in the 15th chapter. They will say that he is the one who's going to give knowledge to us. He will give us memory, forgetfulness, and everything is given by Krishna. Also in the 9th chapter, we saw that, right? Krishna is the one who preserves what we have and gives us what we lack. If you remember, Ananya Chintayanto Mam, Ejana Paryupashate, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, Yogakshemam Bahamyaham. So he is preserving, right? So that knowledge, and he is the object of knowledge. And ultimately, the purpose of us doing everything is to reach Krishna. So the goal of knowledge is also Krishna. And he is situated in everybody's heart, that we all know is Paramatma, right? So that is what explained here, right? The name part. So you can see here, light is also Krishna. The darkness manifested, unmanifested also is Krishna. Sorry, the object is also Krishna, and the one in the heart is also Krishna. Just pause for 1 second, no, Prabhu. I think I'm losing battery, so I have to connect to the source. Hare Krishna. So 13.19, you can read.
Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowledgeable have been similarly described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature.
So he's very clearly saying, right, whatever the field of activities, body, knowledge, whatever I've explained is everything I've summarized, and only devotees can understand. So if you see, there are two people, right? We already saw that Krishna is there and we are there, Atma, but we are more interested in our fruits, and Krishna is constantly watching. But only a devotee will understand this whole concept. 13.20.
Material nature and the living entity should be understood to be meaningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature.
So the material nature, right, whatever we are seeing around us, that is been there for long. So are the living entities. So nobody knows when it all came. We know how many species are there. Now I keep asking this question. How many lakh species are there, stencils, which are done? So many bodies we are jumping. No? How many are there? I've told you this, or I haven't never said this. Not said. Okay, 84 lakh species are there. So 84 lakh varieties of species like fish, lion, tiger, all that accounts to 84 lakh. And we'll be transmigrating from one species to another. That's what has been happening. But originally the soul has been there for time immemorial. And, and the modes of matter and the products have been there for a long time. So, Hare Krishna. Karya karana kartarvai hetu praktir uchyate purusha sukha dukkhana bhuktritve hetu uchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various suffering and enjoyment in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So nature, okay, what has happened? Nature is all the activities, whatever are happening, right? The cause effect. We say, right? Newton's theory. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So I react, I behave in some fashion and something behaves, right? It is nature's call. Fine, no problem. But what happens is all the suffering and enjoyment, whatever is happening, is totally dependent on the living entity. Nature does not cause. I will give you an example. So nature, let's assume that COVID has come, but the same COVID has been taken and treated differently by different people. Example, some of us, took it as an opportunity to learn Bhagavad Gita. That is when we all started. Whereas some of them started crying and telling, oh my God, it's horrible. And I still have some of my friends who said that, they literally fought with their spouses and they ran and sat in the mother's house. So their different behavior of happiness or enjoyment are all totally in the hands of the living entity. But the cause effect, like whatever actions are performed, reactions, all that is nature's call. 13.22. Purusha prakritis tohi Bhunte prakritir jan gunan karanam guna sangusya saddasad yogi janmashu.
The living entity in material nature thus follows the way of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with the material nature. Thus he meets with God and evil among various species.
So very clearly the material nature, right? The three modes of nature are there, right? So the living entity just follows, right? All the modes, whether it's goodness or passion or ignorance, whatever he wants, he will do to follow his way of life. Why? Why is all this happening? Because of his association with the modes, right? And thus good or evil among the species the moment he interacts, he picks up something and he takes it. It's also because of ignorance that he does not know what to do. So what is the role of Paramatma? We have two roles here, right? Purusha means Minu Purusha. It's talking about living entity, right? He follows a particular style of life or way of life, right? Depending on the three modes, whatever he wants. Sometimes passion is required, right? Oh, I want to become a doctor. Oh, I will follow the mode of passion, right? Or I want to beat him in his richness. Okay, I may either follow passion by doing hard work, or I may go and kill the powerful guy and use the ignorance, wrong style, right? Thus, due to this, all this, right, he will come across a lot of good, which I told you, and evil also. And therefore, among the various species also, it's not just among us. And what is Krishna's role is explained in 13.23. Upadrishtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwarah Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehismin Purusha Parah. Hare Krishna.
Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme prioritor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul.
So he's saying that inside this body there is another person. Who is that? Lord, right? He's the supreme proprietor. We already saw in the 6th chapter, right? Bhuktaram yagna tapasa sarva loka maheshwaram sukritam sarva bhutanam natvam shantim rachati. Very clearly what? He's the supreme proprietor, right? Sarva loka maheshwaram means what? He's a super proprietor, right? But he will act as a overseer and permitter. So this word is very important. Upadrishta Anumanta. Upadrishta is overseer. Anumanta means Anumanta. He gives permission. He is none other than super soul. 13.24.
One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position.
So it's a classic example. Sukadev Goswami is already liberated and he's teaching Parishit, right? What is he trying to tell? That he is very clearly explaining the philosophy, telling that the living entity, the way the modes interact, if you understand all this, you will get liberated. Why? Because you know it is not you who is doing everything. It is all because of the nature and your reactions, right? Interaction with the nature, all this is caused. Once he is there, he will not bother about this happiness or distress. Right? So that is automatically give way for the liberation. Hare Krishna.
Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly he says that some of them perceive the super soul, how? Through meditation. Yeah. And some of them will do, Jnana is knowledge. Meditation is Ashtanga Yoga. We saw that in the 6th chapter. Or through Jnana Yoga, right? By reading books and understanding. And others through work, right? Karma Yoga. So different ways they try and understand the super soul. And this does anyone know the picture, who they are? I've already told you all once, but if you all know. If you know, type in the box. Then 13.26. Keep reading. Hare Krishna.
Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death.
So this is the story of Krishna, who is also incarnation of Krishna. It is coming in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they say that he through him he taught his mother Devaki. She is not having so much of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, right? But however, because of some people, if you take all of us, most of us don't have the spiritual knowledge, but thankfully we come under ISKCON, under the protection of Prabhupada. So we are getting to know all this, right? So we hear from devotees, we hear from Achinta, we tolerate what is inconceivable has made it conceivable. Because of all this, they transfer the path of birth and death. Automatically, all this is happening. Hare Krishna, 13.27.
O chief of the Bhartas, whatever you see in existence, both moving and unmoving, is only the combination of field of activities and knower of the field.
So, very clearly, O chief of Bharatas, he's telling, whatever you see in existence, moving, unmoving, like Shara, Akshara, is a combination of field of activity and the knower of the field. He's telling that all this, whatever we are seeing, right? Whatever the activities you're seeing, whether you move, whether you don't move, all this is the combination of the activities, right? So I just told, right? All that is happening around is just the 2 actions which are happening. And field of activities we already saw, Ksetrajna, knower of the field is Ksetrajna, and that is what is happening here. The total concepts. 13.28, Hare Krishna. Shamam sarveshu bhuteshu tistantam parameshwaram vinayatsva vinasyantam yaha pashyanti sa pashyanti. Pashyati means see. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed actually sees.
So very clearly, right? The same thing we have read in the 5th chapter. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmanaste suni hastini suni chaiva swapakeva pandita samadarshina brahmana, right? Gavi hastini, right? Brahmana means Brahmin, Gavi, right? Talking about, the cow and hasti, horse, right? So dog eater, everything they see equally because they feel that Krishna is there in the heart and that's all he sees. So somebody who sees is the one who sees actually, right? Otherwise we keep differentiating. We say, okay, this person is not good, he is bad, he is talking like that. No, not like that. So everything is the same, right? 13.29.
One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches the transcendental destination.
So he says that those who see the super soul, right? I just told it's an extension of that in every living being, right? So mentally he never gets degraded. How mentally he will get degraded? Only when I think bad. For example, let's take a small animal example, right? Someone looks at an animal and they say, oh my God, I should not cross a black cat. It's bad. See, look how much of negativity is there in your mind, right? When you're going to work, you see a cat, your mind is fully stuck with that negativity. And nowhere in the Shastra it says a cat or a black cat is bad. right? But we create, so we degrade. Same way with people also. Oh, he's a bad fellow. So we keep doing that, right? So you don't degrade himself in the mind. Thus, you automatically, treat you see Paramatma in every living soul and reach the supreme abode. 13.30.
One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees.
Just like the automatic car. Like you get into the automatic car, not even the current automated non-gear cars. I'm talking about a car where you can, like a flight, right? You put it on an auto drive mode and you can just literally just be quiet. Automatically it drives at a particular altitude. Like that, he thinks that the body is independent of his actions, right? So whatever he's doing, getting up, eating, sleeping, everything, he feels that, okay, these are bodily platforms, right? This is all required for the body and I am not doing anything, right? So he's not bothered. He's the one who's actually having it. He's the one who is seeing it. 13.33. Hare Krishna.
The sky, due to its subtle nature, doesn't mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision doesn't mix with the body through situated in the body.
They've given a beautiful analogy of the sky, right? The sky is there, rain is coming, heat is coming, but the sky is independent, right? It does not get mixed. Same way, the soul does not get mixed with the body. It's independent. Even though it is living there in the body, it doesn't. One more example is we are driving a car. We may fall in love with the car, but we don't merge with the car, right? Car is an outside material and we are independent of that. We may depend on the car for driving, that's different, but we are not the car itself, right? So we don't mix. Like that, the soul does not mix with the 13.34. Hare Krishna.
O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body of consciousness.
So he's telling that, like the sun which is illuminating in the universe, like that, the living life force, right, illuminates in the entire body. So if somebody is very, very dear, right, you tell maybe spouse or even lover, right, in that relationship, if the one of the spouse is dead in the middle of the night alone, you think the other person will be so happy or forget about being sad. If they continue to stay for 24 hours, they'll get more scared. Why? Because all that love, all that shining, all that illumination is more from the living perspective, right? It is not the body, though we are relating by our body, but actually the life is given for the soul, which is why when they say it's gone, what is gone? The body is still there, right? It's a life which is gone. 13.35. Hare Krishna.
One who knowingly sees this difference between the body and the owner of the body and can understand the process of liberation from this bondage also attains to the supreme goal.
So somebody who knows the difference between body and the owner of the body, right? The body, I'm not, right? And who's the owner of the body is Krishna. Then he automatically will get liberated. So you should understand this. Like the vehicle, like the hired vehicle, one of the body is given to me for my material desire by Krishna. If they understand that, automatically they'll reach the goal. So a quick summary of the 13th chapter is 6 questions asked. As I said, 2 P's, Purusha, Prakriti, 2 K's, Ksetra, Ksetrajna, 2 J's, Jnana and name, right? So he is going to answer each one. So Ksetra, Ksetrajna, he is explaining very clearly body and the knower of the body. Body is one, but the knower is 2, myself and Krishna. Process of acquiring knowledge, Mahi Chananya Yogena. How do we acquire knowledge? Through proper discipline succession, right? So that the Achinta, unknown, is revealed. Name is object of knowledge or the goal of knowledge. How do I reach? That is Paramatma is the name. And how do I reach is very clearly given here in 13 to 19. Prakriti, Purusha and union becomes very important. Prakriti is the nature, which is the heading, right? Purusha here refers to not Krishna, it's not Param Purusha, but us. And the interaction of the nature and Purusha. And both have been present independently for time immemorial, and how they interact causes everything. And vision of knowledge, what is it useful? Vision is for a Mahatma who understands this, sees that Paramatma is the super owner of everything, and who sees Paramatma in everyone, easily will get liberated. So with this, we will end the chapter. I know it's heavy. Please go and read at least the main headings of this chapter. If you all have any doubts, you can ask me. I took 1 hour, little over 1 hour for this chapter because I didn't want to confuse or rush this chapter through. So do you all have any doubts in this chapter? Until then, Vansha Kalpada Rupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Could not ask too many questions in this. So now tell me, is there anything you'd like to know?
No, Mataji.
No? Okay, thank you so much. And any other story, anything particular? Okay, so I will tell you the story of Radharani and Krishna, right? Since this concept of Purusha came, I'm taking you all to this Rasa dance, right? So there is this Rasa dance which is happening, and you all know the Rasa dance. It actually happened when he was 8 years, but everyone talked. That is one more thing. Why do they say devotees don't understand, only understand, and non-devotees don't? You see, non-devotees talk really bad, right? That is why this chapter comes in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and is not discussed prior to that. So what happens is they're all dancing and they all have fun and they enjoy. And it's past midnight and Krishna is telling them, hey, I think it's high time, you have to go back. And they just refuse to go. They are very adamant and they are eating Krishna's brains. And Krishna is explaining, he says, no, you have a family, you have a husband, you have children, and that's your relationship. You can't come here and eternally keep enjoying here, right? You have to go for family. And he tells a story. He says that, you all go for a holiday. You have to come back, right? You have to come back to the house. So this is like an holiday home. You all have enjoyed and you all had fun. And then also they're not convinced. Then Krishna wants to really play it rough, right? So he's telling, no, it's not right. So the actual husband for you all and the actual family is over there. It's not right what you all are doing. It's wrong. And whatever you're doing is not technically even accepted, because these are, you should always go to the true thing. And he is giving all stories. And the more he starts telling stories, the gopis are feeling very sad. Because he's like started innocent, he started humiliating, he started making fun. Then now he's got into a very serious mode, telling that, your husband is there, it's your responsibility, you have to take care, and he's going on and on. And finally they become very morose. And then he starts like telling, don't you think it's wrong? Don't you have this guilt mode that, you have a family and you're like here enjoying, leaving the family. And, they all want to leave. And he says, the story is over, pack off. Right? Radharani says, yeah, but there's part 2 of the story. Krishna is telling, no, the story is over. She says, no, I know the part 2 of the story. And she starts explaining the part 2 of the story, where she says that there is this beautiful husband and wife, where, there is something called Chaturmasa. 4 months, the husband has to go. So basically, he'll go out to preach, right? So that's the Brahmins do that. So he says that I will come back on the Chaturmasa, where he can't travel. He'll be back home. So she says that I'm going to travel for a while, but I'm going to come back, after that. Until then, you have to be alone. So she says that, oh my God, that how can I be alone? He says, no, don't think that I'm there. And he, of course, they don't have a picture or a photo then. So he will make a sculpture of himself. And he says that, think I'm there. And you keep, whatever you do with me, talking you do, food you serve, and you take care of that. Right? So think it is there, and I will go and I'll come back. So he leaves, and this girl, also his wife, everything she will do. She will go take care of him. She'll give food, she will serve, she'll talk, and all that. So the long trip, incidentally, becomes short, and he comes back and he's knocking the door. And he tells that I'm your husband. Now she, and he's telling, hey, I'm this person, can you open? She's telling, no, I am very busy. I'm having a conversation and I'm talking to this sculpture, which is my husband, right? Yes or no? So is that right, what she's doing? The actual husband is outside, the actual relationship, but she's going on talking to this.
No, Mataji, it's not right. It means she is having moha to that sculpture.
Yeah, right. So she's doing, thank you so much. I think you gave the correct answer. She's got so attached to the moha that she's forgetting the true relationship of the person who's outside. So Radharani is explaining. So she was trying to defend the gopis. She's telling, so do you understand? And Krishna understood. And gopis were slowly understanding. And what is he trying to tell? She says, hey, Krishna, you should understand that all our purushas may be at home, but they are all like the sculptures, right? They are like in the material world, we are all temporarily holding it. But our Param Purusha is you. So obviously you are our Param Purusha and we are with you. So you trying to throw us out is like the girl trying to tell that, no, don't come. I have to play with I have to talk to my sculpture. So that's exactly what you're actually asking us to do. So the gopis are already so elevated, they've understood that their Param Purusha is you, which means that she will open the door and let the husband in, right? So even though Krishna counters, Radharani counteracts whatever it says, and end of the day, Radharani is the internal potency of Krishna. There's no difference, right? Radharani nahi anyata. That means there's no difference between Radha and Krishna. And with that, the pastime. So even she's smart enough to beat Krishna. So what do we understand? The Goloka is so sweet that Radharani is more beautiful and more intelligent. So if you see Vaikunta, there Narayana is more beautiful than Lakshmi. But here Krishna enjoys by becoming a fool, right? You see, he becomes weaker to Yashoda, gets lost. He loses to his friends Gopis. He takes the scoldings of Balram. He drives for Arjuna and Arjuna says, drive the chariot right in the middle of the battlefield. He goes with that. Everything Krishna is doing. So he takes a lower platform just for the happiness of the devotees, right? So Krishna is so sweet and so beautiful. And that is a bhava with which we are explaining and we are understanding. So one thing which is the best thing about our sampradaya is the acharyas are given us the highest love, right? That is the prema, right? To go to Goloka. So make use of this chance and continue chanting so that we can all meet, not just here in the class, but in Goloka as well, right? Hare Krishna and thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. And who's going to do the chanting? And quickly, only to Gugan or Lakshmi, who would like to chant today? Prabhu, you can start recording. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.